Introducing the newest phenom to the world of YouTube boxing.
What is he, some kind of musician?
Mom, I think you need a new phone. He's a speaker of some sort.
I think he's all of that, guys. Here's the old man boxing fan.
What's good, YouTube? What's going on? Well, I know one thing. We got a fight coming up in December. We got a bunch of fights coming up in December. Golly, what in that quarter? You know what I'm saying? Well, let me say some good fights coming up. So, Vasyl Lomachenko versus Jose Padraza. What do I think about that fight? I think Vasyl Lomachenko is going to win. I would say it's not a 50-50 fight to me. It's just not. I think Vasyl Lomachenko will do pretty handedly. That's no knock to Jose Padraza. You know, I know a lot of you Jose Padraza fans may think so, but it's not. And I will explain why. Watch Jose Padraza versus Raimundo Beltran, and then put Lomachenko in Beltran's place and tell me, do you think Jose Padraza can fight Lomachenko like that? Yeah, I know, phone, you agree. You know what I'm saying? Look, Jose Padraza has a good jab. There's no doubt about it. But he has this movement that when he swings that's kind of... He'll swing, but he'll shift his leg back trying to get more leverage on it, but it winds up being like a wild swing. He's winging it, put it like that. He wings his punches. And when he does that, Lomachenko is not going to be standing there like Beltran. I can guarantee that. I can guarantee that. Lomachenko is not going to be there for you to... You're not going to be able to get that move off on him. You know, and I could tell that Jose Padraza, he concentrates. He concentrates good. But the speed of Lomachenko and the movement of Lomachenko, I've said this several times. And then you have to look at the level of competition. Okay. Jose Padraza fought one undefeated fighter and lost. That was Gervonta Tank Davis. He stepped up in competition. All the rest of his fights was against people who had lost, who had losses on their record. You know what I'm saying? Lomachenko fought Gary Russell Jr. Now, I don't get it twisted. Gary Russell Jr. wasn't all that. You know what I'm saying? He fought no undefeated boxers either. You know what I'm saying? But he was undefeated. And, you know, they was touting him like he was, you know, something like a big deal. You know what I'm saying? Well, somewhat like a big deal. And then Lomachenko fought Nicholas Walters. Nicholas Walters was undefeated. And he beat the likes of Nonito Donaire and Darchinian. Now, Nonito Donaire is no piece of cake. Now, you talking about a guy who, I mean, Nicholas Walters was no joke. Now, when you look, and then Lomachenko fought Rigo. He was undefeated. Made the man quit. I mean, when you're known for making people quit, what is that saying? You know, or when you have that on your resume, he is known for those people that he made quit. But yo, let's be for real, you know. You got Padraza, who, and the reason why I compared him like to other fighters is because I see similarities between them. You know what I'm saying? It's just more refined on one boxer than it is on the other. You know, so when I make that comparison, it's not saying that he fights exactly like him, you know, or exactly like that boxer that I'm talking about, but they have a similar fighting style. So when I mention Linares and I mention Jose Padraza, I'm not saying that they fight exactly the same, but their styles are kind of similar. So with that being said, Padraza wanted him, so I mean, it is what it is. And look, every fighter has a chance. To me, what Padraza has to do, if he's going to win that fight with Lomachenko, if he wants to win that fight with Lomachenko, he has to cut off the ring and he has to use that jab, but he's kind of, I can't say stiff, but he's not loose enough, you know what I mean? And when he gets loose, he's a bit too loose to where, I mean, don't get it twisted. I mean, he beat Beltran, you know, and he beat him pretty good, but Beltran was there for you to get hit, and he's 37 years old and fought like a 37-year-old, you know, and I'm not saying all 37-year-olds fight like that, because Beltran was trying to do what he was trying to do, but when you get older, you tend to think more. It's less primal. You know what I'm saying? It's more thinking. And you could tell that Beltran was thinking a bit too much. When you get in that ring, instinct has to take over. You know, you can think. Don't get it twisted. You can think. But at times, you got to let that instinct just go. Because I guarantee you, he probably said to himself, I need to punch right here. I need to punch right here. And he just didn't. Because it didn't seem right. When you have that primal thought, you don't give a damn about whether it seemed right. If there's an opening, whoop, you stick it in there. You don't wait. You know what I'm saying? So that's what that is. And you got to understand, Jose Padraza, the only undefeated fighter he fought, he lost to. So you have to count that stuff. You have to think about it. And then look, Lomachenko he did this stuff in a short period of time. You know what I'm saying? So you have to really think about that. This guy is learning on the fly, and he's beating these guys while he's learning them. He's learning them in the ring. You know, because, I mean, looking at footage is one thing, but when you get in that ring with that person, the footage, yeah, it will give you points. It'll give you, okay, well, look, he does this. He might not do that with you. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm not leaning towards Lomachenko. I pick Lomachenko. You know, some people say when they're leaning, what they mean by leaning is I won't give him the full thing. Leaning to me means more like 70-30. You know what I'm saying? Or, you know, something like that. You know, or even, you know, not even 60-40. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. It depends on who's fighting. With me, it's either 50-50 or I think you're gonna win. I don't lean. I don't give a partial account. If I don't know, I'll be like, look, I'm at a loss with this one because it can go either way, so it's 50-50. You know, but with me, it's just different, you know, because I look at a whole bunch of things. Like I just broke down these guys here. I look at their level of competition. You know, I look at whether they fought undefeated fighters and stuff like that. You know, I just don't talk about what they can do in the ring. It's because you can have 1,000 fights, but you can fight 1,000 bums. So who have you fought? But anyway, my thoughts on that fight, you know, I'm picking Lomachenko for that fight. And, you know, hey, if you look at his level of competition, I mean, Rigo alone, you know, I don't even have to talk about him, you know. But anyway, Old Man Boxing signing out. Peace.